Welcome back to another Minecraft video. In this video, I'm going to show you how to build this mob farm. You don't have to build it as big as I have. It's a expandable design. You can expand in all directions. Vertically, left and right. It's easiest to expand it like this way, as you can kind of see by it being straight, all lined up. The way it works is it's a shifting floor design, which works based on some blocks that are slightly less than a full block in height, but mobs can spawn on. So mobs will spawn on the blocks, and then the blocks shift back and forward. They drop onto the lower type of block, then the higher one gets pushed underneath. They're partially inside that, allowing them to fall through, and then they die of fall damage. Yeah, one issue I have made is I've built mine partially in slime chunk. So the design is completely tileable this way, and you can stack it this way, and you can put multiple lines next to each other. So yeah, it can sort of be expanded in all directions. You can also switch it off, so you don't get as much lag. There'll still be mobs in there. If you made it one layer high, this is currently 2 layers high, but if it was 1 layer high, you could put redstone lamps along the top to stop mobs spawning when you switch it off, like you could power them. Most floor shifting designs work on a clock that will move them every like 5 seconds or something, but mine works on tripwires. So when the tripwires are powered, these blocks get pushed out, allowing the observer's pulses from this very quick clock to come through, powering this note block, updating this, shifting the floor. Redstone block goes under here, changing this trapdoor. Observer powers this block, bud powering this, note block updates that, and then like it gets pushed back. These amethyst clusters are here to stop mobs spawning on top of the observers and these stone blocks. The only mob that could spawn on there is spiders, and we don't want them in this farm because they wouldn't get out other than just walking out the end, and they limit the mob cap. That is the one negative with this kind of shifting floor design, is you can't have spiders, but all shifting floor designs you can't have spiders, so it's not just this tripwire system that doesn't allow that. There's not big enough spaces. So if you want spiders, you'd have to make a separate farm along with this. In my opinion, I don't feel like string something I need lots of. I would mainly want the gunpowder and bones. There are also amethyst clusters on this side to stop spiders spawning on top of these pistons. So I'll show you how to build a slice and how to expand the slices and how to wire up the collection system. I have been having some endermen come down here. Okay, so I've now blocked this off so no enderman can get here and stop the minecarts, which was what was happening before. So to build a slice, you need these items. You need a block that's not a full block, but mobs can spawn on. I think another alternative is mud, but I'm not sure if mobs can spawn on it. You need trapdoors of some type, pistons and sticky pistons, note blocks, glass, like any block that you can put a tripwire hook on that doesn't conduct redstone. You need observers. You don't need barrels. I was just using that as a storage item. You need redstone torch, redstone repeater. These are just for the clock, that like the quick clock that does the powering. Redstone blocks, amethyst cluster. It has to be amethyst cluster. The other ones don't produce enough light. And then you need a regular block. I'm going to start by building the clock. So to build the clock, you need a block with a redstone dust on top, a block on top of that, a block next to the redstone dust, a 3-tick repeater on top facing into that block, a torch under here, and then a block on top, and you'll see the clock will turn on for 4 ticks and then turn off for 4 ticks, which is what we need. Then what you can do is get a block here and put redstone dust on top. This would be the line that would update all your observers if you want to extend it like this, which you will want to. You don't want just one single line. So next to the redstone dust, you need the observer. You need a note block down here. You need an observer here, a regular piston here, a sticky piston facing the other way on top of that piston, a note block. This needs to be a note block because otherwise the piston doesn't extend because it doesn't get updated. You then need the glass, which has to go here, and then you can put a tripwire hook on there. Then you need one of your non-full block, and you alternate these until you've got 11 blocks. That should leave you like this with 6 of your non-full blocks and 5 of the other ones. And then what you should do is put a redstone block there. Then you can put a regular piston there and an observer on top of that facing this way. Then a regular block of some sort. Your note block under here. So once you've done this, you want to come back to here. You can use a regular block and place another tripwire hook. If you're doing it one layer, this can come one block further forward, but if you're doing multiple layers, that would power the note block on the next layer and stop it updating the piston. Then you can place your trapdoors. So you want to start facing this way on the first normal block. So you place the trapdoor, open it, and you keep going until you have done the one before the redstone block. So once you get here, the next one you have to place on the top half. So when it's closed, it will be like that. And then the last one you have to place on the bottom half, so that when it's closed, it's like that. These other ones, they don't matter, you can use top or bottom. Now you can place your actual tripwire, so you just need to place string along the top here until you reach your other tripwire hook. And it should link up like that. Now if you're to go and stand in the middle here, it will shift back and forward, and if you were standing on it, you'd fall through. Now you can add your amethyst clusters. So you place one there, and then what it should be like is if you go to F3, you have one light. So over here, you can see one block light. And then on this side, you would either have a next layer above this or the roof. So if you had your next layer, you would have a block like this with more redstone on top. And if you've got that, you place your amethyst cluster on the bottom of that. If you've decided to put your actual roof there, that's the thing to shadow the place and make it all dark, then you just put your amethyst cluster on the bottom of that. So now that you've done that, if you want to extend the farm, you use redstone dust like this and just put more next to each other. Once you reach the 15 redstone dust limit, what you want to do is place a 4-tick repeater. The reason for this is since the observers work on it changing, if you use a 4-tick repeater, since it's a 4-tick clock, as this would turn on, this now turns off, which means the observers will give pulses synchronized, even though this sort of isn't, it's like opposites. So I'm just gonna do 2 rows. So I've just copied mine, so I've got like 2 rows, and I'll pretend this is what I'm doing for my farm. If you wanted to have multiple of these lines like this, all you have to do is if you want 2, you can just add another pair of observers over here and sort of copy this over symmetrically, like flip it over. And if you want to have more and you want to extend it out this way, you just use this same block for the next tripwires and just flip it over again and like copy it that way. So if I come up here, it should be quite clear. So this is the line with the clock coming through. You can see I've just put observers on the other side and copied the piston system and all the trapdoors. So I'm going to pretend this is what I'm doing for the farm, and I'll show you how to put the roof on it. You come to the furthest spawnable block. So for this kind of side, it would be these ones here. And you can put slabs on top, and then what you want to do is you want to bridge out this way 14 blocks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So once you do that, you want to bridge out from here 13 blocks in this direction. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So then what you can do is place a block like this. These need to be slabs, and do a diagonal line like this until you reach the other one. So you should get like this and then place a block like that. So then you'd fill in this area. So once you've done that, you want to go to the other side, which in this case is this block here, because I've just done it too wide, and do the same thing. So I'm going to bridge out 14 blocks. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Yeah, I'm kind of getting close to my other farm. And then same again, bridge out from this bit here, 13, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So it should line up with this one here. And then you can link them up diagonally. So then you've got that. And then you fill in this area again. Now that you've done this, you need to go to the other side, which on this side, the furthest spawnable block will be like under these trapdoors here, because the redstone blocks sometimes get pushed across. So you place a slab like that and do the same things. So then you should have it like this, and you link it up diagonally again. You do that and then you fill it in again. So once you've made these 4 corner triangles, you need to link them up with straight lines like this. So just like that. And do that on all sides. You don't go out anymore, you just link them up. So now that you've done that, you need to like fill in the gaps. So now that I've filled all of that in, if we come under here and go to this block here, so you can see currently the skylight is 1, but once we go into this bit here, it like drops to 0. Not sure why it's flashing on to 9. If you want to turn these clocks off, you just need to power part of them so it can't like keep looping around. So now that we've done this part, also if we come over here actually, this will be 0, this would be 1, but it starts with 0, so it's the least ceiling you can use to make it all dark. Stacking them is quite simple. You just build another one on top. So the note block would go above this glass block, and the observer would go above the tripwire hook. It's quite simple. When you want to set up the collection system, the magma block has to be 29 blocks lower than these blocks here that the mobs spawn on. So there should be 28 blocks in between the magma blocks and the spawning blocks. So you should be able to see that clearly. So you need to go to the furthest spawnable block, which in this case is this corner, and then just go down 29 blocks and place a magma block. And you do that in all the corners, and then you can fill the middle area in. And then what you want is powered rails. And then you want powered rails running underneath with a redstone block every 15 blocks so that you can have all the rails powered. So then the more complicated bit of the collection is this end. I'll show you how to build a slice of that. So these are the items you need to make the collection system thing. So this is based off a design I saw by Il Mango, except I've modified it a bit so that it is no lower than the rails, because then you could put it just on top of bedrock in a perimeter. So what you need is a block up like that, and then on top of there you need a detector rail, and then off that you need an observer like this, so it's looking at the detector rail. Then you can put a dropper facing upwards, followed by a dispenser on top. Then you need an activator rail here, which is just to update the dispenser. A powered rail won't work because it will connect to the other ones and won't change. You can then put a powered rail on top, and then you need a non-full block that rails can be placed on, like soul sand or mud. And then on top of that you place a powered rail. To power these rails you can put a redstone block on top like that. You could also use a regular block and a lever or something if you want to be a bit cheaper. You then need a cauldron under here, and there needs to be lava in it. Then you need a hopper going into the dropper, and then you need a block here with a powered rail facing this way. So to make the outfeed system, I put water in that rail and then had a long water stream coming along here. It has to be a 2 deep dip, and when the water runs out and can't go any further, I would place a sign, place another sign up there, get some ice, and then I'd put water there and also water there. So the items from the previous bit of water can slide along the ice and come out the other side and continue, but the ones from this actual water stream will drop onto here and get pushed off. The last bit of this system is you need a amethyst cluster here. So this is the whole system built. I'll just show you it over here because it's all like built up next to itself. So here I have signs going the whole way along, and then water running, and once it runs out I've just put blue ice. You could just use regular or packed ice. And then I've just had it flow to the middle. You could have it flow out one end and go off to a storage system. You'd have to have it flow over multiple hoppers if you build one like this, because otherwise you're not going to be able to pick up all the items. To build the on-off switch, what you have to do is place blocks above the activator rails, and these blocks would have redstone dust running along them. So if I put lots of these next to each other, this redstone dust would be above all the activator rails. Where you choose to install the system that actually powers this redstone dust, what you need is a sticky piston up there, a redstone block like that, another sticky piston next to that redstone block, and an observer on there with the output coming to this redstone. To turn the farm off, you power this piston, which will then stop the dispensers from getting powered by the observer and like shooting out the minecart. And then when you turn the farm back on, that retracts, that then goes down and gives a quick pulse, powering the dispenser to shoot out the minecart and send it off to go under and collect. Once your redstone power runs out, it's a kinda complicated system for repeating it. So if the redstone dust ran out sort of here, so it was off here but this was on, then you place a block here and put redstone dust on top, and then you put a block there, another block there, and you need a repeater. So you just put a repeater there, a block in front of a repeater, a block down here with redstone dust, and then a block here with redstone dust. You don't need this redstone dust if that's the one that's off and doesn't get powered. So then this would power the repeater and power this block through here, and then you have another block here with redstone dust, another block here with redstone dust, and that would run it into the line, which then continues along here. So that's what it looks like. Obviously, you need hopper minecarts. So you can either, when the farm's switched on, you can place a minecart and it would go off on the rails. These would be powered by the redstone blocks. Or you can have the farm switched off and put a hopper minecart in the dispenser, and then when you switch it on, it will get dispensed and go off along the rails. As I turn on this lever, it powers this, powering that line, deactivating the collection system, and then this torch tower transports that signal up here, powering these lines, which then power the clocks, stopping them from looping. But if I now turn on this massive farm, you'll see a lot of mobs drop at once because they've all built up over time. Yeah. There's quite a lot. Quite a lot of mobs. I can just stand here for a minute or something, and I get close to having a full inventory of gunpowder, bones, rotten flesh, and arrows. You even get, like, with one this big, you even get a decent amount of redstone. Like, in an hour, you'd get, you know, at least a stack or so. One quite good thing with the tripwire system is since it gets rid of the mobs really quickly, because it gets rid of them like as soon as they spawn, because the clock is really fast, it would be very good built very big, because when you build a really big farm, the limitation is the mob cap, and that wouldn't be reached as much with this farm as with one with a clock. If you were using one with a clock, you'd have to make it a quite quick clock, and the disadvantage of that is mobs can't spawn on the blocks while they're moving. But I think that's going to have to end today's video. Yeah, I can't really think of any more information I can add to this farm. If there's any questions you have, you know, just ask them in the comments. I can definitely respond to all of them. Like, subscribe, hit the bell to get notified. Bye. How much have we got down here now? Like, how much has my outro given me? A whole inventory's worth. Gosh.